Hello and welcome back to the Formula 1 chat. It's been a while, but we're back for the 2023 season and we'll be kicking it off with our predictions. Now, car launches kick off this week. We thought we'll get in there before they've even shown the liveries and we're going to try and predict the season. These are all probably going to be wrong, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, you've been horrifically biased.
I have not been horrifically biased.
Probably have.
So, there's a few shouts that are a bit out there, bit rogue.
That's the nature of predicting, isn't it? You go a bit mental, see what you get
Some
right.
are pretty much nailed on. I think most people will have them around the same area.
Yeah, fair enough. So last year, obviously, we did our drivers and constructors, and we are going to do that today. But we're going to start with 5 random predictions. Now, these are just sort of statements that we're going to make a bit bold, I guess you could say. Some mental predictions and see whether we get any of them right. We are actually going to review our predictions at the end of this year. I know we didn't do that last season, but
we were off anyway. I'm sure we were.
I'm 100% sure. I think I put AlphaTauri. I thought the fight was going to be between Red Bull, AlphaTauri, and McLaren. So that's the championship. So I think that was quite far off. But yeah, 5 random predictions. Then do you want to kick us off with your first?
Oh, doing at the start, are we?
Yeah, we are. Let's get them out of the way. Let's make everyone
first,
really angry to start with, and they'll cheat.
Yeah. First, pretty big one. I've gone for Oscar Piastri to win a race this season.
Wow, that is controversial because obviously McLaren didn't win in 2022. But you think they're going to make a race-winning car?
I think they are. I think they're going to be quite quick this year, McLaren. And with Lando and Piastri getting the best out of them last year, I think Daniel made the McLaren look worse than it was last year and the year before, until he won a race, obviously.
I'm actually of the opposing view. I think Daniel was at the performance. I think Lando's outperforming the car, but
do you think Piastri can outperform the car? But I think the car will get better as well.
Do you think Lando will get a win this year, or will Piastri get a win before him in his debut season after Lando doing nothing for 4 years?
I hope Lando gets a win this year, but I just don't know if it's going to happen.
But you've gone Piastri and you've not gone Lando. That is a controversial one to start off. I'm going for one that I think most people will agree with, and I'm going to say that Las Vegas will be underwhelming.
Probably.
I think that it's a fairly safe prediction. Miami was a bit of a naff race. I think the only exciting thing that happened was Lando and Gasly made contact at one point, and other than that, I don't remember much about the race. I think Max waltzed it, didn't he?
There's more crashes.
The main thing I take away from that weekend was the police car escort to the podium. So the fact that is the most memorable moment, I think it's going to be the same in Las Vegas.
I think Vegas is more square.
I reckon what they're going to do is he's going to have to put his trophy on a roulette table, and they're going to spin it, and if it lands on the one he's chosen, he wins the championship, and if it doesn't, he doesn't even get the race win.
Wow.
I think that's how they're going to do it.
I don't know how they're going to do it. I'm expecting the police. Maybe they'll combine the two. They'll combine the police and the Shackmobile.
Yeah, maybe they'll just go all out for Vegas. What's your second bold prediction then, Harry?
Sticking with the theme of winning races and getting podiums, I've said Williams will get a podium at some point this year.
Disgraceful.
It's not. I think Albon and Sargent are quick drivers. I think the car will be quicker than it was last year.
But everyone else could be more quick.
We saw what Albon could do last year at times. I think Sargent can be there or thereabouts. And I think we get one of those weird, wacky races that we usually get one a year. I think they'll manage to get themselves on the podium.
I just don't see it. I don't see...
Not the win, but a podium.
I can't fathom Williams getting a podium. That doesn't seem possible to me. My ones are, again, I'm going a bit safe here, but I'm going only 4 winners in 2023. It would be really dull, but I think it's going to be right. The last season was dominant from Red Bull, and I think only 5 drivers won a race.
Yeah.
Because Lewis didn't get one, did he? So it was...
Russell, Sainz, Leclerc. Do we not have a weird... Oh no, because Lando for...
Both Red Bulls, both Ferraris, and then...
Russia.
No, that was the year before.
Oh, yeah.
But regardless, I think it's going to be another boring year. I don't even think Perez is going to go in this year. I'm going to go for Verstappen, Leclerc, Hamilton and Russell with
Perez
the wins.
Perez 6 last year.
What?
No, it's 5. I'm being an idiot.
Yeah. No, because Hamilton didn't win one last year, did he?
Yeah, I can't count.
What is your third prediction then?
Now, this one's going to kind of ruin a little bit of my predictions for later. AlphaTauri won't score a single point this year.
I think that's a very interesting one. Because obviously AlphaTauri struggled last season. I don't think that many expect them to struggle as much, but if you look at all the other teams, they seem to be performing much better than AlphaTauri and improving quickly.
And especially with a driver who's only been... Yuki going into his 3rd year.
Yeah, he has to have a big season this year because there's
Exactly.
about 15 Red Bull Juniors
he's
in F2.
He's underperformed, and I think De Vries in his debut season. I mean, again, he got points in a Williams.
Yeah, but I don't think Logan Sargent's going to get a podium, mate.
I don't know. We'll find out.
I can't see.
But yeah, I think they're really going to struggle, the two of them, and I don't see them getting a single point.
Yep. My next one, Esteban Ocon will score 5 podiums in 2023. I think Ocon's going to be a bit of a dark horse this season. I think it's going to have a really, really strong year.
Alpine bullet train.
No.
Oh.
No, I think it's going. I think they're going to be very much in the midfield, but top of the midfield, and I think they'll just be able to get an odd podium here and there when Red Bull, Ferrari, and Merc come to blows, or if there's a bit of a strange race. So I think he'll be perfectly poised to take advantage of that. I don't think he's going to be offered much of a challenge because I think Alpine look much stronger than McLaren. I think the only reason it was anywhere near close in the title in the constructors last year is simply because Alpine's reliability was shocking. So I think if they're reliable this year, Ocon can really do well. I don't think he's going to be challenged by Pierre Gasly that much. I think Gasly's a good driver, but I think Ocon is just a bit better. So he should be fairly comfortable to pick up a few good results. I think he'll get 5 podiums in 2023.
My penultimate one is that, don't know which driver, but a driver will miss a race due to collecting too many penalty points.
Oh,
I think we saw a lot of collisions last year. A lot of
we
penalty
almost
points
saw drivers get it last year, didn't we?
We saw likes of Gasly become very close to getting a race ban. And I think this year someone will fall foul of.
Interesting.
Will receive a race ban. I don't know who, but the amount of collisions we saw last year, I think we'll see the same amount this year. And we might get to see a return of. I mean, it can't be Hulkenberg because he's on the actual grid.
I was going to say, who is the super sub now? I can't imagine we're going to see like Seb return. Maybe.
That'd be cool.
I'd probably say Mick Schumacher would be the favourite just to come in and do a job. Depends on the team, obviously, as well. But then my fourth prediction, I'm going to go that Piastri won't score in the first 5 rounds of the season.
No, you're chatting rubbish.
I'm not. I think he's going to struggle to get going. I think the McLaren doesn't look ultimately strong. I've gone first 5 rounds. I was thinking of going first 10, but I think that's a little bold.
That is hard.
That you could definitely pick up points in something like Azerbaijan. I think is that in the first 5? I might have had a mare there.
No, that's the 6th, isn't it?
Yeah, all right. I don't know, but I think he'll score. I think it'll take him a while to get scoring, but he will eventually score some points. But I think it's going to have a really tough season, Oscar Piastri. I don't think that McLaren's going to be great.
My final one, and this is a very, very out there one, a very strange one. Ferrari will not be in the title fight.
That's just waffle. It's just pure waffle.
I think it was a one-season wonder last year.
You have no basis for your claims here.
I do. Logic.
How?
My logic.
Okay, go on then.
I just think they're a one-season wonder last year. They weren't even. You could argue they weren't even in it last year. The amount of points Max won by. And I think
they were in a title fight.
I think with Merc improving, I think McLaren will be better. I think they'll end up being dragged into a battle with other teams for the third, 4th, 5th positions.
All right. Well, that rounds off a lovely.
I think they're really going to
all
struggle.
of your horrific predictions. I've got one more to go, and I'm going to say that Logan Sargent won't finish a single US race. Obviously, we do travel to the US 3 times this year for Miami, Kota, and Las Vegas. I don't think Sargent will finish in any of those races. Bit of a fun prediction. Who knows? I
think Williams will get a podium. I think it could be him at Vegas.
It's just not.
Because hear me out. Because no one else has raced at Vegas, so no one else has got an advantage over him.
Okay, but he's still racing a Williams. It doesn't matter.
Williams is going to be rapid.
I don't think it is, but I do think that leads nicely into our driver standings for this season. In at 20. Who have you got finishing bottom of the pile? Last year, it was, of course...
Nicholas
Latifi. Will it be Williams on the bottom again, or have you gone for something
else? It isn't for me, and this backs up my one of my predictions. If AlphaTauri won't score a point, bottom of the pile will be Yuki Tsunoda.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting one. But you've got Yuki down there. Yeah, I don't think that's a good call. Instead, I have got Logan Sargent bottom of my pile. I think he might score a point, maybe 2, but I don't think he's going to have a remarkable season. I think he'll do enough though to earn him a second year in Formula 1. I don't think he's going to have too many incidents.
No,
I think he'll just get by, and I think at the end of the year, people will just go, "Well, hang on, he did all right. The Williams was terrible. I think Williams will understand that and give him a second year.
Yeah.
I'm basing all my predictions for Williams off that their car is going to be horrific.
All right. Okay.
19th. Who have you gone for?
I've got Lance Stroll, and also you might think here, he's below De Vries, which means
He must have scored none.
he must have scored none. I don't think he'll score a point.
That is strange.
I think Aston Martin are really going to struggle.
Really?
I really do.
I think Aston Martin are destined to do well.
I think they're destined to do the opposite.
Really? I think Aston Martin, controversial take here, not to do with this video at all, but I think they'll win a championship in the next 5 years.
Wow.
I think they've got that potential.
I still think they could. I think they could have a terrible season this year, and then in the next 4 years they just skyrocket.
Okay, but no,
I think
no points.
no
No
points
Stroll,
to
that is
Stroll.
mental.
But Alonso will score.
Lawrence will buy him some. Yeah.
Buy him some.
You're a joke. 19th, I have gone for an AlphaTauri driver. I've gone for Nick De Vries. Again, I think he might score some points, but he's not going to score many. I think it'll definitely be in the single digits, probably under 5. But yeah, I just don't see much for AlphaTauri going well this year. They didn't look strong last year. They've not changed a lot. I don't think they'll have massive upgrades on the car either. And I just don't think they'll be able to fight, really.
Yeah, you've got De Vries in 19th. I've got De Vries in 18th. So I don't think he'll score a single point, as I've already said. But outperforming Stroll and Tsunoda.
Yeah, maybe on the cusp that would imply 11th, 12th.
That is just based on the fact that he will finish. Because when you get 0 points, it comes down to your highest finish. I think he might get, as you say, an 11th, a 12th, a 13th.
I find, you've put 3 drivers on 0 points. That seems mental because, obviously last season we only had...
One.
No, we didn't have a single driver unless you're counting Kevin Magnussen.
Did Latifi score?
Fairly sure he did, didn't he? Hungary.
Did he get... Oh, I think he might have got 1. I don't know.
Or something like that. He did... Britain, I swear he did well as well, so... He definitely scored, I think.
He's getting more than 0 points, isn't he?
You're waffling with your predictions.
Yeah, I've done it now.
P18, I have got Guan Yu Zhou. This isn't a diss at Zhou. I thought he did really well last year, but I think the Alfa Romeo is going to be a lot slower this year than it was last year. Just a personal gamble.
Yeah.
I don't think, if you look at the end of the season, they started to fall away. I think Haas, Aston Martin, McLaren, Alpine, I think they'll have a strong stranglehold on the midfield this year. So I think it will be the 3 teams I mentioned so far, Williams, Alfa Romeo and AlphaTauri, sort of fighting for the lower points sometimes, but mainly scrapping at the back of the grid.
Yeah, 17th, I've got Valtteri Bottas. Similar, I don't think Alfa Romeo will be very quick this year.
But you got Zhou outperforming Bottas.
I do, yes.
Your predictions are ludicrous.
That's the whole point of predictions, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
I think he'll get a few points, not many.
Harsh on VB, in my opinion.
Because I think he will score, but I think it will just be things like 9s and 10s, 9ths and 10ths.
All right.
So he picks some 1s and 2s.
Yeah, 17th then I've got Yuki Tsunoda. They're just, the AlphaTauri aren't going to do well. Tsunoda's not going to massively outperform De Vries, but he will pick up a few more points here and there, and they'll both be in the bottom 5. 16th, who have you got?
Nico Hülkenberg.
This one's just
now,
waffle
this
again.
is me. Last year, I look at it, the Haas was either a massive hit or a big miss in races.
But where the Christ have you put the Williams?
If
Neither of them are in the bottom 5,
just wait until you see
mental.
Williams. No, but I think the reason he'll outperform everyone else is because he'll go missing in some races and be like P19, but in the next race he could be up in P8, P7.
All right, so he'd be scoring regular points.
No, I'm saying
if half the races he's scoring your P8.
Okay, no, he's going to be more miss than hit.
All right, fair enough. My P16, that's where we're at, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've got Valtteri Bottas. Again, I think he'll just outperform Zhou, similar to Tsunoda, but not a massive outperformance. And I think that they'll actually both teams will finish behind Williams, and that will leave me nice into my 15th. But do you want to do your 15th?
P15, I've got Fernando Alonso.
This gets worse. I didn't think it could get worse, but with every name you say, your predictions get worse.
Again, I think Aston Martin are going to struggle. I think this will be his last year in F1.
What? He signed off for 2 years. He's going to quit after a year.
Okay, no, who did? He'll do 2 years. I think he'll struggle though.
This is painful, man.
I think this year he might struggle. Next year they might find some pace, but we'll work that out next year. This year though, I think he's going to struggle.
Fair enough. My P15 is Alexander Albon. I could see him just picking up like a random P5 at a mental race, and Williams being able to therefore jump Alfa Romeo and AlphaTauri and get quite fortunate in that regard. But I could just see something like that happening and Albon picking up some good points. I think Albon last season showed that when things go his way, he's perfectly poised to be able to take advantage of that. So I think he's more likely to do that than the AlphaTauris and the Alfa Romeos are. So yeah, that's why I've put Albon in P15.
P14, I have put Logan Sargent.
This is the worst take you've ever had on this channel. It's disgraceful.
Because, hear me out. I think he will be, like, around, he could be on 0, maybe 1 or 2, but I think that Williams podium that I called earlier,
oh my God.
I think that could just jump him above everyone else.
So he is ahead of regular points scorer Hulkenberg from 1 podium.
He's not regular. Hulkenberg is not, I never said that. You put him worse.
Sargent's going to have to have done well to get up to 14.
He will.
He can't just get 2 points and score 15 randomly.
Well, he can, though. Because remember, 3 drivers getting 0.
Yeah, how are your points working out? Who's scoring them? Because there's none of the people...
Oh, when you get to the front, it'll be brilliant.
It's like they're just going to score all the points.
Yeah.
How?
Okay.
So the top 10 is going to finish the same every week?
No, like the top 17 will be point scorers. There's still 17 drivers there that will score points across this year. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fun.
Your predictions are farcical, mate.
They're not.
P14? I've gone for... Yeah, no, I know. Right. P14, I've gone for a bit of a shock. I've also gone for a rookie. I've gone for Oscar Piastri.
No, that is the worst take ever.
It's not.
That is awful.
It's not. It just isn't, though.
Embarrassing.
McLaren really struggled last year. This is similar to where Ricciardo finished. I just don't see McLaren...
Piastri's going to perform the same as Ricciardo?
I think the McLaren's only have going to got worse compared to their competition. I think there's going to be... The midfield looks a lot more competitive. I think Haas are going to bring a good package. I think Aston Martin are going to bring a nice package. I just don't see McLaren being able to fight regularly for those sort of...
That's embarrassing.
5th, 6th area. I think, as I said, Piastri will take time to get going, but when he does, he'll do all right. But I still can't see him scoring over 50 points.
That is embarrassing.
I think he'll be around that 40-point mark.
You're having a shocker.
I'm not... You've put Logan Sargent 14, so you can shut it. Honestly,
P13,
mate, you're waffling.
I've put Zhou Guan Yu. I think he'll have a good year. I think he's going to drag that Alfa Romeo up 17th. There's not too much of a disparity there.
Well, no, there is, because Bottas is the lowest point scorer, and you've got Zhou above 17-point scoring Sargent.
Why would I say he could score 60, he could score 50?
So he's only getting a podium. He's going to do nothing else all year.
Zhou will do well. Zhou will have a good year. P13 for him.
Okay. 13th, I've gone for Pierre Gasly. Now, as I said earlier, I think Ocon's going to do really well this year, but I do think it will take more time for Gasly to adapt to the new team, to the new car. I think he also struggled last year in an AlphaTauri package. I understand that car wasn't fast, but I don't know. I feel like he's not adapted to the new gens that well, but when he does, he'll start doing well. I think he will be picking up regular points towards the end of the season. I could see, maybe a podium if he's lucky, sort of Qatar time, but... Before then, I think that it's going to be a tough season for Gasly compared to Ocon. But it's still a decent season. I think, as I say, around that 40-50 point mark.
All right, P12, I have Kevin Magnussen. Again,
that's not too bad.
I think, again...
It's your first good prediction.
A little bit, as I said with the Haas, it's going to be very hit and miss. But I think he will be more hit than miss, whereas Hulkenberg will be more miss than hit. Also, we saw his brilliant moments, like his pole in Brazil and... big point hauls. He had a really good season last season, Magnussen. I think he's going to be around the same with where he was last year.
Yeah, P12, I've got Nico Hulkenberg. This is sort of the start of my massively competitive midfield. I think that we're going to see Aston Martin and Haas going at it all year. Sort of going back to the Haas-Renault fight in 2018, 2019, something like that. And I think obviously Nico Hulkenberg was on the opposite team then, but this is going to be Hulkenberg and Magnussen working together against Alonso and Stroll. Interesting to see who comes on top, but I think Hulkenberg will just score slightly less points. He hasn't raced in F1 for a year or two now, so I think, just obviously he's come in and done a few races, but I think he needs time to adapt back to the cars, but once he does, I think he'll be a solid midfield point scorer. And I think it's going to be really useful for Haas to have a driver that actually is a bit more consistent.
Yeah, P11, I have Pierre Gasly. I think he'll have a decent year. As you said, I think it'll take him time to get used to the Alpine team. But once he does, I think him and Ocon will actually get on.
You've not said Alex Albon's name yet.
I haven't said Alex Albon's
name. You've got Gasly below Albon.
Because I think Albon's going to be in that midfield fight. I think it's going to be...
This is actually horrific. Be right?
Who's your P11?
My P11 is Lance Stroll.
That's horrific.
It's not. You said he won't score a point. I think it will be up there. I think he'll be able to score a couple P5s. Maybe if he's lucky, get a podium. But I don't think
I'll be
he will.
honest, I have underestimated Stroll a bit there, but it's too late to change it.
I think Stroll's going to actually have a really decent year, and I think people will start to realise actually he is a good driver, and with a good package under him. I think Aston Martin look really, really strong. They've got a lot of infrastructure, a lot of resource there, thanks to Lawrence Stroll's backing. So I think Aston are just guaranteed to succeed. Whether that's this season, whether that's in the future, I guess time will tell. But I do think Lance Stroll have a good season. I think the Aston team as a whole will have a good season.
All right. P10, I do have the tie-Brit driver, Alexander Albon.
Finally.
He is going to deliver this year.
He's going to score like 60 points to get around there. 70 points.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
I think he's going to deliver. He's going to deliver in that Williams. He's going to do things what Magnussen did. He's going to get a pole.
He's going to get a pole?
I think Alexander Albon...
Where is Alex Albon getting on pole?
Look, would you have ever called Magnussen getting a pole last year?
No, but at least he's a midfield driver. It seems somewhat reasonable.
Alexander Albon will win midfield
Williams
driver.
is terrible.
It won't be.
Okay,
They're going to deliver. They're going to find pace.
When they don't even score a point, when they can't even turn a corner, this is going to be quality at the end of the year. Well, we're going back through these predictions, and you've said they're going to finish 10th and 14th.
I think they're going to have a really good season.
I don't.
Who's your P10?
No one else does. P10, I've gone for Kevin Magnussen. I think he's showed last year, really dependable driver, but I do just think he'll miss out. I think Haas will just be a little bit behind Aston. I think that'll annoy him, but yeah, Kevin Magnussen's still going to do a really good job, and I think he will, again, similar position to where he was last year, consistently inside the points, sometimes dropping out a bit, but I think more often than not, he'll be in the points. Yeah. Sometimes he'll be able to push for those P5s, P4s, but most of the time he'll be just outside.
All right.
Or just inside the points.
P9, I have the other Alpine of Esteban Ocon. I think it's going to be a decent season for Alpine, middle of the row, middle of the pack. They won't be too annoyed, and maybe they'll be hoping to push on next year to get higher up the grid.
Yeah, fair enough. And then P9, I have Fernando Alonso. That's sort of the end of my Aston Martin Haas contingent there. I think they'll be very close all year, on track and off track. So I think it's going to be a really exciting year for the midfield. Yeah. I think that both of them are going to have fast packages. It'll be interesting to see who can come out on top. I think Alonso's experience will just see him be able to get more consistently fighting with the Red Bulls, the Ferraris, the Mercedes.
All right. P8, I've gone Lando Norris. Not a great year last year. Obviously, McLaren wasn't up to speed. I think McLaren will be quicker this year.
Again, where is Piastri, man? How have you put him above Norris?
Piastri, you are the world champion.
If you have put him top, you actually have to leave. We're going to get cancelled off this one video. People are going to watch it and just go, nah, Norris is only one of those.
I think McLaren will be quick. I think Lando will do well. I still think Lando will have a good year. I think Piastri will have a better year.
Yeah, sure. I've also got Norris 8th, but not because Piastri's ahead of him. I just think Norris might be able to score some decent points. But yeah, I think we'll be able to drag that McLaren up a bit. Be able to get involved with the McLaren-Haas battle, but overall I don't think he'll have enough, really. I don't think he'll get a podium this year. I definitely don't think he's going to get a race win. But it'll massively outperform Oscar Piastri, probably over like 50, 60 points more than him.
All right.
I think he will... I think I don't know, he might get 100 points, Norris.
Now I'm going to do my Ferraris as a pair. I said they wouldn't be in the title fight, and I'm sticking with it. Sainz in P7 and Leclerc in P6. They're not going to have a good year, Ferrari. I think they could start falling out. I think the team could fall apart.
You've forgotten what year this is.
Slow pit stops, bad reliability, all over the place. Basically last year, but catastrophically worse.
I feel like you've teleported back 3 years. Like, what is this?
I think they will.
Do you not remember how good Ferrari were last year?
I think it was a one-season wonder, and they blew it.
They weren't good last season, though, really. Like, they had a very fast car the first half of the season. Red Bull improved second half of the season, and by that point, Ferrari's incompetencies.
I think they'll get better from last year. I think they'll get worse from last year.
What, less competent? Or do you think the car's going to get worse?
No, I think that as a team, they will crumble.
Crumble.
I think they'll have a crash. Leclerc and Sainz will crash together.
Wow, that would be controversial, wouldn't it? I do have a Ferrari in 7th, so I know I've just slated you, but very similar position again. I've got Carlos Sainz. I think he's just going to underperform, but I don't think Ferrari will bin him off. I think they'll go, look, we'll give you another year, see what you can do, but you need to improve from last year. But I think he'll do fine in 2023. Nothing spectacular. I think obviously there's only one driver in between him and the top lot. Which, and if you're paying attention, you should be able to know who that is. You did your 6th, didn't you?
Yeah,
you did a double up. P6, I've got Esteban Ocon. I said at the start, I think he'll score 5 podiums. That doesn't seem too unreasonable. There's 23 rounds, of course, this year, so there's going to be, hopefully, at least 5 rounds where it's not just Merc, Ferrari, Red Bull on the podium, and I think Ocon will be there to take that position when they're not there. So yeah, I'm going Ocon P6, and it's a bit of a controversial take, because obviously Sainz did well last year, but I think he might struggle this year. I think Ocon will actually have a really, really strong year.
Now, P5.
And carry Alpine. What is this, man? This could be anyone.
I've got.
This is like Verstappen.
I've got Mercs, Red Bulls, and Piastri left. P5 is Oscar Piastri.
Yeah, if you put Piastri anyhow, even that is disgraceful.
I think
what
he's
is
going
your
to hit the ground
reasoning?
running. He is going to prove to everyone why he should have never taken a year out. He should have been in.
Yeah,
that
but I'm saying he was going to prove that year's made him washed.
I think he's going to fly this year. I think he's going to beat Lando. I think he's going to win a race. He's going to have a brilliant year. McLaren are going to get their way back towards the top. It's going to be a brilliant season for Piastri, and he's going to do really, really well.
So,
but
Lando Norris in 5 years hasn't scored a race win, but you think Piastri's going to
win this year?
Get one?
I think it'll be a brilliant midfield battle between Ferrari, McLaren, and Alpine, with Ferrari and McLaren battling for third. Right, and then you have Alpine, Williams...
Top of midfield, really, for Ferrari.
Yeah, Alpine, Williams,
somehow.
Haas, and Alfa Romeo kind of battling for the middle region, and Aston Martin and AlphaTauri messing around at the back.
Yeah. Don't know how Williams have been able to get into that top lot.
A title fight between Mercedes and Red Bull.
Right, I'll do my 5th, and I'll leave you to sort out whatever the hell that is. But P5, I have gone for Sergio Perez. And as I said at the start, I don't think he's going to score a race win this year.
That's harsh.
Yeah, it is, because he's been dependable for Red Bull, but I think the only reason he's scored more podiums than... It has scored podiums and race wins is because the other drivers haven't been that strong. I think with Ferrari there, they often were a bit incompetent, and then they'd let Perez get a win or a podium. I think if Merc are up there fighting at the sharp end again, I think there'll be less opportunities for Perez to pick up wins and podiums. He'll score less points, and I think he'll have to fight more, because I think the top 3 cars will be very, very close. There doesn't be much to split them.
I like Checo. He's got to win at Mexico at one point, surely. I would love to see
that. Obviously you want to say it as a dream, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
Okay, my top 4 then. I'll do it all in one. 2 Mercs, 2 Red Bulls.
If George Russell's a world champion, I'm going to cry.
Oh God, no. It is going to be a very heated battle once again. It's going to be not collisions. I don't think it's going to be controversial. I think it's just going to be fiery. It's going to be good. I think all 4 and it won't be Verstappen and Hamilton running away with it like they did in 2021. I think all 4 of them will remain in the same ballpark. So person in second's looking forward to the championship, but has got to look behind him. P4 is George Russell.
Yeah, well, I've also got Russell P4, so I might as well throw that in there. Solid, dependable driver, picks up a few wins, a few podiums, but nothing.
I think Hamilton's really gunning in his championship fight. Same for Perez, P3. So no world championship for Sergio Perez. So then we do have a battle between Verstappen and Hamilton again.
Okay, is it going to be separated by a point?
It isn't. It's not going to be separated by a point.
Okay.
But it will go down to the final race.
Wow.
And it is going to be brilliant. But my 2023
just remembering what year it is. Well done.
World champion is 3rd in a row.
There we go.
Max Verstappen.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think we'll just have enough, but I think Hamilton will be right there with him all the way. But I think it'll prove that 2021 was over the top. I think it won't be controversial. Those 2 will get on, but it'll be a really good battle on track.
All right. Yeah, no, I agree. Max Verstappen, he's going to become a 3rd time world champion. Easy to say that. And but I don't think it's going to go down to the wire. I think he'll get it done with about 4 races to go, I reckon. I think Leclerc 2nd, Hamilton 3rd. I think they're running very close. I think the 3 of them will all be on 200 plus points.
Yeah.
300 maybe. But yeah, Verstappen will just have enough. I think he'll have enough of an advantage. He should be able to pick up consistent wins sort of middle of the season. I think Merc are probably going to win the opener. Maybe the second race as well. Ferrari after that.
Ferrari did last year, and everyone thought, oh my God, Ferrari are waltz this championship because they got a 1-2 and Red Bull blew up.
Yeah, I don't think Red Bull are going to blow up. I think it's going to be very competitive. And I think that constantly having 3 drivers that you don't know which is going to be quicker at each weekend.
That's the thing
very
that
exciting.
is I think the pendulum will swing so many ways. Like, because in 2021, it was kind of like the first half was Red Bull, then it swung back to
Well,
Merc.
it constantly went up and down, and then Max took a big lead, and then Lewis put him in a wall, and then Bottas put him in a wall, and suddenly Hamilton was back up again.
I think it would genuinely be swing, Merc, Red Bull, Merc, Red Bull, Merc, Red Bull, Merc, until Red Bull get the final below.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, I think it's going to be quite a close season.
Yeah.
Up until about halfway, and then Max will just take off like he did last year.
Yeah.
But I still think, for the first half of the season, you don't know which of Verstappen and Leclerc Hamilton's
It will be a really
going to
good season, though.
Hopefully so. There's a lot of interesting storylines, a lot to look at. And yeah, shall we do our constructors? It should be fairly obvious, so we won't take too much time about it. But we both have Alpha.
Are we doing all in one, or are we doing...
We'll start at 10th. Actually, you can do yours.
AlphaTauri 10th. As I said, they're going to struggle. Aston Martin are also going to struggle in 9th. Alfa Romeo, the same in 8th. And then you've got midfield battle of Haas in 7th, Williams in 6th, and Alpine in 5th. Your battle for 3rd will be won by McLaren, with Ferrari in 4th.
You're such a waffler.
And then Mercedes in 2nd, and Red Bull winning the constructors and the drivers once again.
Yeah, fair enough. Constructors, I have 10th AlphaTauri, 9th Alfa Romeo, 8th Williams, because I'm not mental. 7th, I'm going to go McLaren. I think they could be a lot lower. Piastri's going to struggle. Then McLaren, I think, Haas then 6th, just beaten out by Aston Martin to 5th. Alpine 4th, Ocon's going to be sensational. Ferrari 3rd, Sainz is going to let them down a bit there. And then I've got Mercedes 2nd, Red Bull 1st, where those two could be very close. Depends on Perez and Russell's points tallies. But yeah, I think it's really, all in all, a very exciting year of Formula 1. And yeah, I think that's all for today. Just sort of note, obviously this is our first video back for about, I think it's been 70 days since we discussed Abu Dhabi. And yeah, just to let loyal viewers know, people who've been watching our content all of last year, this year we're going to do stuff slightly different. I don't think we're going to post weekly or whenever there's a race. Instead, we're going to do like every 2 weeks, just sort of a video about Formula 1 or Formula 2, Formula 3, something like that. So basically about motorsport. And yeah, we'll just try and, rather than do quantity, we'll try and come up with actually really interesting ideas and fun topics to discuss before we just, give our preview and review for a race and throw out some predictions and then inevitably they'll be wrong. But so this year we'll try and have a more structured way to producing content. So I hope that, satisfies your needs this year. But yeah, that is all from us today. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.